Hi everybody. In this video we're going to show some changing our speed to the walking speed and also having a button that we could push that'll do sprint. So hopefully we can get it working well. And this is just a reminder that if you're in Unreal and you need to open up your C++ code, if it's not open, if you open up your project and then you go to Tools and open Visual Studio, that's like the best way to go about it that I have found. If you found another way, if you send it to me, that'd be great. So, but this is the way I found that it opens it up good and that I'm in here and I can compile it again and make sure it works. So as we get started, we're going to go back into our code. And what we're going to need to do is add some information. The first thing we need to do is add a couple of headers. Now, if you don't know this already, if you're relatively new to C++ or you've worked in C#, headers like these are like the includes, they're adding things to our project or to our code where other things that we need to use were built in someplace else in our code, and we want to include it in here. So we're going to add it here, and it's just include. If you're used to C#, you might refer to it as using statements. And so what we want is game framework character.h and another one of game framework, and tab helps complete things if it starts if the item's there and you could like not have to type it all. I'm all for that because I'm a terrible typist sometimes. I get typos and I don't realize. So what these are doing, right, is just having us get the information about the character, right? So this is the player stats that we made that is currently in the component, and so now we're going to be, from previous videos we did this, right? And we're adding this to the character, but we need to get some information from the character so that we could change the character's speed. So that's what we did here, was adding those two headers. And we're going to come down to our begin play, and what we're going to do is add some code in here that just makes it so that way, for one, we have to actually add the character. And so what we're going to do here is it's a character. Now, the way that Unreal does most of its things, if it's an actor, it usually has a as a preface behind, or like the prefix for the thing, right? So if you have a character and it's an a character, so it's an actor character. And you could call it whatever you want, but we're going to call it owner character. And then we're going to use cast. What cast does is it basically says whatever the next item actually would produce, what kind of data type, we actually want it to be a character. So that's what we're going to put here, character. And so it's going to, so that's what the cast is saying. We want to make this a character, so whatever comes out of get owner, right, this is a function, and it's a function from a built-in function. And so depending upon what this is, whatever it is, we want to cast it to a character because we just assigned it to a character. And the asterisk here means that it's a pointer. And what a pointer means, it's simply a variable where you're saving an address location. That's all a pointer is. So that's what this is doing, is creating a pointer to this character. Is saying, instead of, we're going and saying, okay, get the owner, and we're going to point to it, so that way if we need to make any changes or anything, we're making it to that character, and we didn't make a copy of it, we're actually using that one. And so that is that. Now we need some logic in it, so we're just going to use an if statement, and we're doing if owner character, so it's like saying if it's an actual character, right? if that, and then we're going to put to the log. And this is just because I like writing things to logs because I like seeing things happen. We don't have to do this, but we're going to just print a warning, text, and then pre-movement, speed, percent. Trying to type without looking. It works really well, can you tell? So I told you I wasn't the world's greatest at typing. So, and then owner character. What this is doing, this dash and an arrow, is saying, if you're used to like classes and stuff, because right, character is a class, if you're used to that, it's saying the dot, and it's saying that that function is inside there. So that we want get character movement, and we're going to change it to max walking speed. Now, we made the max walking speed in the last video, if you remember right. So, right, if we come to our player 2, that's one of the, oh wait, no, sorry. We made movement speed in the last one. Max walking speed is the actual player's max walking speed. It's what's in the character. If we go and look in the character, so we'll open up the character, third person, and we'll click on the viewport just so we could click the guy, and then we actually want to click on up here on the top left hand corner under components of the third person character. That gets the whole body, right? And so we can look up here and we could type in max walk speed, and so you can see right now it's 60, and we're going to go back to our code, right? And so that's what should be going to be print out, which is what the current max walking speed is sorry, it wasn't 60, it was 600. So that is one line, and we end with a semicolon, and then we're going to repeat that again. So I'm just going to copy and paste it so that we could have it twice. And it's just because we're going to change it in between. And I always like to, this is strictly what I like to do when I do these things, is so I can see something that happened. And what we're going to do here is change the thing. So we're going to get that same variable, but instead of getting the value, what we're going to do is we're going to set the value. And we're going to set it to our movement speed that we had set. Movement. Now that I'm reading the next line again, this should be post. So, right, so this is pre-movement. So before we set it, and this is after we set it, and that we're setting it. So we're going to go into our Unreal, into this one. We're going to compile our code. So you always want to make sure that you have both, right? It's successfully linked to the patch, and then patch configuration, and like the green, right? And you have a finished and 100% or 0%, right? So that the whole thing is done with the compiling. And so now we can hit play. And just by getting into that, right, it should have worked. So then we could stop the play and look at our log. And look, we see here our hello Jen, but you can see it didn't do the other part. You know what? I think I know why it didn't do the other part. Sure enough, I have an asterisk right here. I didn't save it. Make sure you always hit save all. I always forget. It happens more often than I would really like to admit. So get back into Unreal, not that one. Too many closed. All right, we're going to try this again. I could fix it, but I think it's a good idea you just see that I mess it up on a regular basis because you will forget to, and it's a good thing to always go and check. And look at that, it went green. Let me open that up again. If it closes too early, you can click on the little dots next to the thing and hit show console, so you could come in and do warm fuzzy that you got the finish thing, and everything's green, there's no red. And so now we're gonna hit play again, and that's all we need to do. We can hit escape and hit our output log, and look at that. Now we have our the one where it says, hey look, this is Jen, but then it also has where it says our pre-movement speed is 600 and our post-movement speed is 300. So yay, we did what we wanted to do for the movement speed. So I'm going to end this video now and do the one for the making it sprint in the next video.